intense part of this circulation is just north and east of Waycross. Remember, when a tornado warning is issued based on radar, it's because of a circulation in the clouds, counterclockwise circulation, which oftentimes precedes the actual development of a tornado, which is why we're on the air right now. And that portion of the storm, the tornadic portion, is just a little east-northeast of Waycross. So it looks to me like Waycross is out of the crosshairs of the most intense part of this. And that's pretty clear now when I switch it to our wind velocity. So we're showing you rain. This is now the wind. Here's Waycross. This is the possible tornado. So it's clearly northeast of Waycross, and it's moving to the northeast. So it's moving away from Waycross, and it appears on this path that it would be just a little bit south and east of Blackshear, but it's going to be darn close, and Blackshear is still in the tornado warning, so we want folks in Blackshear to take cover. What's that mean? Well, go into an interior hallway or closet. A bathroom can oftentimes work very well. Lowest part of the building that you are in, away from any windows, and protect your head and face with something like a blanket or a pillow. But this is a pretty strong circulation now. I'm going to take us back in time a little bit. So here's when the tornado developed, or the tornado signature. It was moving just to the south of Waycross. So this is going back here in time, about the time the tornado warning was issued. So it was moving up to very near and just to the south of Waycross. And then we move forward in time, and you can see how it moved right to the immediate south and east of Waycross and is now moving up to just south and east of Blackshear. So you can see as I go back and forth there, you can see the motion, and that's to the northeast. So now time that out for our viewers in Pierce and Brantley County in particular. The most dangerous part of this storm, this circulation, is into Homestead about right now, 711, Blackshear High School neighborhood at about 717. If there are any school activities, you should be in the hallways of that school. You should follow the tornado protocols that you've been taught in the past. Pine Grove Church neighborhood, Otter Creek at about 729, and then we're getting to the edge of the tornado warning as it would continue to move to the northeast here at about 30 to 35 miles per hour. It is moving right along, and we're seeing a pretty solid indication still of a circulation now. So let's take a look. We'll go in even tighter here, even closer. There's Highway 121 now. And we're just getting an update on the tornado warning, and my guess is that the National, and I'll show you in a minute, the National Weather Service is saying that that tornado is due south of Blackshear, possible tornado. They've also taken out Waycross, which we expected to have happen because, again, that is clearly now to the northeast of Waycross, and our most intense part of this circulation is now getting ready to cross Highway 121. So their update is the cancellation for the Waycross area, and that the tornado warning remains in effect. The storm capable of producing a tornado was located over Blackshear, moving northeast. They're going northeast at about 60 miles per hour. That seems a little fast to me. It also seems like the tornado is likely a little bit south of Blackshear, but you're in the tornado warning, Blackshear, so you need to be taking tornado precautions. And again, that's in the middle portion of the home, of the building that you're in, away from any windows, an interior hallway or closet or a bathroom, and you should be taking shelter immediately as this tornado tracks to the northeast, and it'll be crossing Highway 121, if not right now, in just minutes. That's why we are on the air now. If you're just joining us, a tornado warning in effect for parts of Ware, Pierce, and Brantley County in southeastern portions of Georgia as a very intense thunderstorm has developed and is moving to the northeast. We'll take a look at debris again, and I'm still not seeing anything that tells me tornado on the ground. Now, having said that, we already have the storm spotter in Waycross reporting 45 to 50 mile per hour winds. So it's likely that you're at least getting that in Blackshear, and it looks like it's even a little stronger than when the warning was issued. So you may see 60 to 70 mile per hour winds and could have some damage. And this yellow elongated area here, that's most likely a gust front. Straight line winds, in other words, associated with the storm, and that's crossing through Blackshear right now, Highway 203. It's going right up Highway 84, and then the circulation is tucked right back in here, about ready to cross Highway 121. But if I were convinced that this was a tornado on the ground, I would expect to see what we call a debris ball right in here, and we're just not seeing that. We're not seeing a concentrated area of bright colors that literally looks like a ball, a circular presentation on radar. I'm not seeing that, which is, at least at this point, somewhat encouraging, although that is still a very powerful storm, no doubt. We'll take a look at the wind shear within the storm, and this may take just there. It comes into view. It takes a little while, a lot of times, for that data to come in, but that correlates very well with where we're seeing the circulation. And when we see color in there, like we're seeing this red, that's especially problematic. At least very strong winds, and again, that is getting ready to cross Highway 121 to the immediate south and southeast of Blackshear. As it moves rapidly to the northeast, moving away from Waycross. My Waycross viewer has just posted that he says he thinks they've had a few inches of rain just out of this one cell or band of storms. No doubt this also contains some very heavy rain, so there'll be some localized flooding that'll occur with this storm. And then this potential for a tornado, that's why we're on the air. A tornado warning remains in effect. You can see a lot of lightning. We're seeing 34 lightning strikes in just the last 10 minutes with this storm as it moves to the northeast. There's Blackshear, there's Central Avenue, that's the back edge of the tornado warning. There's Waycross, still in the heavy rain, but the most dangerous part of this storm has now pushed to the north and east away from Waycross and is moving up across parts of Pierce and Brantley County with a lot of lightning to the immediate south of, over Blackshear, but the most intense part of the storm, the possible tornado to the immediate south of Blackshear as well. So let's track the very heavy rainfall here. This is not necessarily the tornado, but it is the very heavy rain that will also contain gusty winds and frequent lightning. That's into Otter Creek at 7:19, Hoboken at 7:25, Trudy at 7:49, and then Hortense Memorial Church neighborhood at about 7:52. So I wouldn't be surprised at all if the severe thunderstorm warning at the very least is extended, even while the tornado warning may either be discontinued, or we'll see how this system evolves and behaves. But right now, the tornado warning, and there it is. There's an extension of the tornado warning in effect now until 7:45. So that takes care of that guessing game, right? So there you can see the extension of the tornado warning, that flashing red polygon now, which takes it north of Nahunta. That's a pretty significant community in Brantley County, but it looks like it stays north of Nahunta. And now that tornado warning includes northern portions of Brantley County until 7:45 this evening. So that's a brand new update. Just in, I'll take away the rain, and it's a lot easier to see, right? Yeah, here's the yellow, the severe thunderstorm warning, the red, the tornado warning, and now a second tornado warning that has been extended to the northeast. And just to the north of Nahunta is where that warning is in effect now. And let's see exactly what the National Weather Service has on that tornado warning. I don't think I'm going to be caught on anything too surprising here, as they're tracking the same storm that I am. Let's see, tornado warning. I'm not seeing the tornado warning come up for until 7:45 here. There it is. And they are reporting that a tornado was a severe storm capable of producing a tornado was near Blackshear. Again, no real surprise. Moving quickly to the northeast, although I have the center of the circulation a little south and southeast of Blackshear, moving northeastward very, very quickly here. So let's put on the velocities on here, and we'll check out that circulation. Certainly still very evident that there's a circulation, but it has now moved to the east of Blackshear. So Blackshear, you are out of the woods. You're okay. So is Waycross. Nahunta, you are too, because this storm is moving to the northeast. So that's going to take it north of Nahunta, right up just to the east, kind of paralleling Highway 84 now. So just a little bit east of Highway 84. It'll be crossing Highway 32 over just the next few minutes. So if you live anywhere in this vicinity, you are going to want to take shelter right now as a possible tornado is headed your way. We'll take a look at this. I'm going to speed it up a little bit based on the reports that we're getting. The circulation is still very strong, so I would not discount this tornado warning, and that is why they have extended the tornado warning to the north and east and for another 15 minutes. So based on that movement, that would put it into Prospect Church neighborhood at 7:25, O'Neill at 7:31, Deliverance Church neighborhood at 7:33, and Philadelphia Church neighborhood at about 7:38. Highly rural area now as it leaves Blackshear and Waycross. It stays to the north of Nahunta, but there are some small communities and small developments in this area, no doubt. And that circulation is a powerful look on radar. We may not have a tornado on the ground, but it certainly is trying to do so. And there you can see there's Owens Road as we get in a little tighter, a few more roads. Owens Road, there's Highway 32 up here, Trudy Road, and this is heading rapidly to the northeast. So anybody along Highway 32 or any of these roads that you see popping on here, Owens Road or Trudy Road, should be taking shelter immediately as a possible tornado heads your way. We don't have any confirmation of a tornado, but boy, that's a wicked-looking circulation on radar. It is quite powerful and not one that I would take lightly if you live in this particular area. We're going to again take a look at the debris. I'm still not seeing much in the way of debris, which is good news. There does appear to be straight line wind debris being blown about, but I'm not seeing an actual ball of damage that would be especially concerning and say, hey, tornado on the ground. We take a look at the shear here. There's still a very significant shear marker with this. That's the green and the red that you're seeing. It has not weakened, that's for sure. There's again Owens Road. There's Trudy Road. This stays north of Raybon Road and stays again north of Nahanta. It is now safely east of Blackshear, and this will continue to move northeast. Now you can see where you see these white areas, those are developments and buildings. So there certainly are, even though there's not a city in its path at the moment, there certainly are places, neighborhoods that will be impacted by this storm as it moves rapidly to the northeast. And then we also have what appears to be a little bit of a circulation on the backside behind that, although this is the primary area of concern as this moves to the northeast. This will be out of our viewing area probably within the next 15 minutes, and then we'll go back to regular programming at that time. I'm not expecting widespread severe weather this evening and overnight. Not a lot of intense thunderstorms per se, but this one has certainly intensified in a hurry. Here's the more traditional radar that you look at, the rain, right? This is very heavy rain, and it has been pouring. Our storm spotter in Waycross reporting possibly several inches over just the last hour. So the leading edge of this rain also, of cell, has some very, very heavy rain. Frequent and vivid lightning, and then, of course, the strong winds. And then this possible tornado now that is moving to the northeast rapidly. And I'm widening the view now, and you can see it really is, so to speak, the only show in town. There's a narrow band of storms that extends to the southwest, but not near as intense. There's not even really any lightning once you get past this one cell that has the tornado warning. And there are some heavy showers developing over parts of Baker and Columbia County to the west of Jacksonville. But again, I'm not seeing anything particularly intense. And there's some more that will be developing here and coming in off the Gulf, but I just don't expect that to be nearly as intense. This appears to be kind of a one-time thing for this evening, and that's this tornado warning, which is why we're on the air right now. We'll stay on the air until our viewing area is in the clear, and this also has Highway 301 in view eventually. So possible tornado right here, Highway 301, and then moving rapidly to the northeast. The leading edge of the rain and storms here. Let's time that out for you as this moves northeast now at 45 miles per hour. That's going to put this heavy rain into Nahanta at 7:33. Again, that's not the tornado, but some very heavy rain and possibly strong winds. Prosperity at 7:36. Gardy at 7:45 and Popwellville at 7:54. Now let's concentrate on the tornado warning that is in effect. You need to be in a safe place right now if you're in parts of eastern Pierce, northern Brantley County. As this tornado moves rapidly to the northeast, we'll put on here the velocities, which is really telling, and there it is. There's our possible tornado, and this circulation has not weakened. The good news is safely north of Nahanta, safely north of Hoboken, well to the northeast of Waycross, safely east of Patterson and Blackshear as well. But that's a strong, what we call a couplet on First Alert Doppler HD, which indicates the possible tornado now has crossed Trudy Road. It is quickly approaching Highway 32. So if you live along Highway 32 in Brantley County in Georgia, so this would be northern Brantley County, roughly about 45 to 50 miles northwest of Jacksonville, this circulation and possible tornado will be crossing your area and your neighborhood and still looking really quite powerful on First Alert Doppler HD, even though we're not getting confirmation of an actual tornado on the ground. Sometimes you will get hail with a tornado. The atmosphere in this case is not really set up such that we would expect to see much hail, but I was kind of curious, so I've been checking the hail tracker here, and indeed not seeing anything picked up there in that regard. Our debris, still looking at nothing that's particularly threatening when it comes to debris tracking here, which would be an indication of a tornado on the ground. But our shear indicator is still quite impressive, as is the circulation with velocity, so it still could produce a tornado at any time. And sometimes we don't pick up debris balls with tornadoes. So I'm not saying there's not a tornado. It's just if we had a debris ball, then we'd be almost 100% confident on a tornado. At this point, it continues to be a radar indicated tornado. That is the reason for the tornado warning for parts of also Wayne County, which technically is not in our viewing area, but Pierce and Brantley County are. But heads up for Wayne County as this heads to the northeast. It looks like it would stay just a little bit to the south of Jessup. And here's the radar imagery, which again is more traditional. The heavy rain that is advancing east-northeast with this band of storms has crossed Highway 84 and 82 and is now quickly approaching Highway 301 in northern portions of Brantley County. So you get the heavy rain, you get the lightning, and then this tornado would be embedded sort of like on that leading edge. Let's see if our First Alert Storm Analyst is up, and it is, so that's good news. All I have to do is step back into the weather office and center it up for you. But this will help us to get a good view of the storm. There it is coming into view. And First Alert Storm Analyst is simply another tool that we have to show you severe weather as it moves to the east and to the northeast. So here's the main band of storms, which we've been showing you on First Alert Doppler HD. Hoboken in some very heavy rain. Hortense, you're next. McKinnon, Broadhurst. Nahant is going to get in on the heavy rain, but the tornadic portion stays just to the north. And where you see that little triangle right there, upside down, that's the indicator of the possible tornado. And here it is on our velocities. So you've got rain over here, and you've got velocities over here, which is wind. And the different colors are simply related to the circulation in the storm. So it's rotating counterclockwise, and the different colors indicate, in this case, winds that are moving away from the radar. The raindrops are moving away from the radar. On this side, they're moving toward the radar, and that's our circulation now. Picks up really well here on First Alert Storm Analyst as this moves northeast. So Hortense, heads up. This is going to get very close to you. Looks like it may go just to your north, but awfully, awfully close. And then McKinnon would also be potentially threatened by this storm as it moves northeast, and it stays north of Nahant, and it stays to the north of Hoboken. There was just an update now in the last minute or two. It does appear to be perhaps, well, it's definitely moved east-northeast, so approaching Hortense. People in Hortense should be seeking shelter now from a possible tornado. Get into some place that's quite sturdy, a lowest floor of the building that you're in, underneath a table. Sturdy table can work well. A desk, protecting your head and face, an interior hallway. Bathroom works well because you have extra pipes from the plumbing, and that can give you a little bit better integrity when it comes to the structure of the room that you are in. So we'll go back to First Alert Doppler HD now, as we were looking at First Alert Storm Analyst, and there's the wider view. There are showers, heavy showers, developing southward from here all the way down to Gainesville. That'll move across Duval County and Jacksonville over the next hour. I suspect they will not be severe, but we do have this one storm. And you can see the difference here in lightning. There's a lot of lightning with this possible tornado. Well, to the south and west, it's raining a lot, but there's no lightning. And that, by far, that's a great indicator that, hey, we need to watch this one cell very closely. But the rest of that band, while it's heavy, probably is not all that significant. So we zoom in a little bit. This has kind of lined out a little bit. It's become a little more linear, stretched out, in other words, instead of a strong, intense cell like we had a little earlier. So that may be a positive thing. But the tornado warning does remain in effect, and that's that yellow polygon that you can see there that does extend across Highway 301, and that does include Hortense and not quite to Highway 25. As we zoom in even a little bit more, we'll bring in some more highways and communities. That's Highway 32 cutting across right. Here's Highway 32. Here's Highway 301. So the circulation is going to be just to the immediate north of the intersection of 32 and 301, it would appear. Yep, and there we go. But that's going to be awfully close on that intersection of Highway 32 and Highway 301. Here's the circulation. There's Highway 301 and 32, and then movement to the northeast. So let's time that out and get a good view of timing on this possible tornado as it heads to the northeast. There's Hortense coming into view now, 7:29. So that would be any minute now. Hortense could be experiencing at least very high winds, possibly a tornado. O'Neill at 7:31 in Manningtown at about 7:38. That is the circulation on 5-Sweep First Alert Doppler HD, and a pretty impressive circulation indeed, about 50 to 60 miles now north of Jacksonville. this isn't our viewing area. That's why we're on the air. This is the debris tracker. And again, I'm not seeing anything that convinces me there's a tornado on the ground. It's indicated in the clouds as they're rotating around counterclockwise. That's why the tornado warning has been issued. But that could still form at any time, and so we remain on the air, and the tornado warning remains in effect. Certainly some very heavy rain at the very least as this storm moves in. People in Blackshear, you're still getting the heavy rain, but you're out of the severe threat, even some lightning every once in a while, but your heavy rain will even be ending within the next few minutes, and in Waycross it has ended. The rain has ended as this cell and band in line continues to move rapidly to the east and to the northeast. In fact, let's track this whole line of heavy rainfall, and it'll be into Nahunta at 7:34, Hickox at 7:41, Pendarvis at 7:47, Popwellville 7:57, Altamaha Park at about 8:05. That's very heavy rain and likely some gusty winds as well. In addition, on the northern edge of this, the possibility of a tornado. It looks like we've had an update from the National Weather Service and on this tornado warning. They're going to leave the warning in effect for right now. Severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado located near Offerman, which is exactly where we've been talking about for the last 15 to 20 minutes or so. So the warning is in effect for central Pierce, northeastern Brantley, and southwestern Wayne counties as this storm is east of Patterson and moving northeast. So that's pretty close, pretty similar to what we've been talking about. I'm getting an update here from my viewer storm tracker here and watcher in Waycross. The rain has stopped and it's calm in Waycross, which is what we had just stated. So that's helpful. Thanks, Jason. As that storm now moves away from Waycross and is plowing across the northern parts of Brantley County, at least the most dangerous part. Nahunta, you're going to get a heavy downpour here and maybe some wind too. But the dangerous part of that storm stays north of Highway 82, stays north of Nahunta, and the circulation is just now getting ready to cross into right across Highway 301. So we'll take a look at those velocities. There's the circulation. Does appear to have narrowed a little bit, maybe even become a little bit more broad through this section, a little more stretched out here. And I point that out because that would be indicative of perhaps more of a straight line wind situation. Having said that, we still do have a circulation here. Right here is where the circulation is, and it is rotating counterclockwise. And so this is why the tornado warning is in effect, crossing Highway 301 now, just about right over the intersection of Highway 32 and Highway 301. It'll pass near and north of there. And there's an update on the tornado, and it's been extended, the tornado warning, to the east, although that'll start to get out of our viewing area, which will be good news. We can get off the air once it's out of our viewing area. We'll widen the view, and there you can see now the tornado warning goes all the way to Highway 25. So that's going to include northeastern Brantley County, gets into more of Wayne County, and technically does just catch the northwestern edge of Glynn County, which is in our viewing area, although it would appear that the most dangerous part of this storm will stay mainly to the north of Glynn County. So that's an updated and new tornado warning now that is in effect. That's in effect until 8 o'clock this evening. It includes extreme northwestern Glynn County, as I mentioned, north central Brantley County, which is where the storm is right now, essentially right in here, and also includes the southeastern portions of Wayne County. But it does look like it stays south of Jessup, tracking that tornado now near Raybon, about 9 miles to the east of Patterson, and moving quickly to the northeast. I'm going to take away the radar information here a little bit to give you a little easier view of the tornado warning, and there it is. So here's the tornado warning that's in effect till 7:45, and then it's been extended to the east and northeast until 8 o'clock this evening. If you're just joining us now on CBS 47 or Fox 30 Action News Jax, we're tracking a potentially tornadic thunderstorm moving through the far northern parts of our viewing area. It's not impacting Jacksonville and will not impact Jacksonville, but if it's in our viewing area, we're on the air. Now, I know a lot of you, and we're about an hour and 20 minutes away from the tip-off of the Florida National Championship game right against Houston. We should not be in severe weather mode at that time, so that's some good news. We should not have to be worried about that game and severe weather, even though we'll be having some rain and perhaps some rumbles of thunder. Our concern lies with this cell here. I mentioned how far away from Jacksonville it is. We can measure that out, and from about downtown Jacksonville, it's now up to 75 miles. So the core of the storm, the possible tornado, is about 75 miles away and continues to move to the northeast and will be in pretty short order out of our viewing area. So that's some good news. But zooming in, the extended tornado warning now until 8 o'clock. I don't know that we'll necessarily have to be on the air that long, but the heavy rain has made it to Nahanta and is now crossing Highway 301, the very heavy rain. That's the heavy rainfall part. We put the velocities on here, and that shows us the tornadic portion. Doesn't look as impressive to me now, but there's still a circulation. It's also getting further away from the radar, so we're shooting a little bit over the top of this storm. But it's just crossed Highway 301, and that circulation is still evident. Perhaps not as powerful, but certainly still very evident. And we'll track that circulation now as it moves to the northeast and moves quickly into Manningtown at 7:38, Fendig at 7:39, Pendarvis at 7:48, Aiken Church neighborhood at about 7:54, and Lower Sanzavilla at about 7:57. So staying north of Nahanta, a circulation now. It is a possible tornado. That's why we're on the air. This should be out of our viewing area, though, relatively short order. And besides that, we are tracking primarily just heavy rainfall. So that should be it. And the overall atmosphere is not set up for a lot of severe weather this evening. This is kind of, if you will, a rogue storm on the northern end of this line to the northeast of Waycross now. So while we'll have some additional showers and thunderstorms, I don't anticipate having to be on the air with additional severe weather. It wouldn't appear. Here's the heavy rain now that's west of Jacksonville. Kind of disorganized, but heavy showers. And while we're not seeing lightning at the moment, they could develop into thunderstorms at just about any time. That heavier rain will be into Rayford at 7:38, McClenny at 7:51, St. George at 7:56, Maddox at 8:01, and Baldwin by about 8:10. None of that is severe, and I really doubt that it goes severe as it would appear to me right now. This is our storm that may be producing severe weather and a tornado. The northern end of this, to the north of Nahanta. If you're watching us from Nahanta, you're fine, you're okay. Waynesville, you're okay as well. You'll get some heavy rain, but the most dangerous part of this storm stays well to your north. This line of heavy storms, as it moves to the northeast, will be into Nahanta now any minute. Prosperity at 7:42, into Browntown at 7:52, and Popwellville at about 7:59. And then we take off those timing on that and put on the velocities here. We continue to see that velocity, couplet as they call it, circulation, centered here. Well, it's just crossed Highway 301, a little bit north of Highway 32 now, and continuing to track here to the east and to the northeast. This is largely now exiting our viewing area. Most of this is now in Wayne County, which means I can be getting off the air here shortly, although it may just glance the northwestern corner of Glenn County. And there's Jessup coming into view. We do have some viewers still in Jessup, too. Get us as far away as Jessup, and this will stay south of Jessup as it moves to the east-northeast, the most dangerous part of this storm. So that's good news for Jessup. And does look like this is really starting to broaden out quite a lot. This is our debris tracker, again, not indicating anything that really concerns me with a tornado on the ground. Despite a very impressive circulation from a velocity standpoint, I have never seen a debris ball, so to speak, which is what you see when the tornadoes are on the ground doing damage. You'll literally see what we call a debris ball, and I'm not seeing that at this moment, which is encouraging. There are indications that this is becoming more linear, more stretched out, more of a line. And when that happens, you can still get strong winds, but the tornado risk has a tendency to go just a little bit lower with any luck. And those storms, by far, are the most intense in our viewing area of northeast Florida and southeast Georgia. Scattering of heavy showers extends well to the south and just doesn't look to be really much of an issue as they continue to move to the northeast. There's the scattering of showers west of Jacksonville, and then we get to the intense storm here, which I'll take off the radar information because it becomes a little bit easier to see and to read. But a large portion of this storm, the most significant part of this circulation, is leaving our viewing area. So it's headed up into Wayne County. And while technically you can see here the edge of that includes Glenn County, which would be our viewing area, I feel pretty confident that that's going to stay north and northwest of Glenn County, that we're exiting, the most intense part of this storm is exiting Brantley County and getting up into Wayne County. So it's getting out of our viewing area. My point is I'm wrapping things up here now, and we'll monitor, carefully track if things would change, and of course we'll pop on the air if we need to. Heads up for our viewers that are in far northern Brantley County. This is moving through extreme northern Brantley County. It stays south of Jessup once it gets into Wayne County for our viewers that are distant north. The velocities are not as impressive now. There still are strong winds, no doubt, but I'm not seeing a lot of what we call those couplets where there's lined up against each other. The colors are lined up against each other, which would indicate a circulation and a possible tornado. I'm throwing the wind speed estimates on here now, and they're not overly impressive. There is one 69-mile-an-hour pixel north of Nahunda. That's probably a little overdone, but it does indicate that there are likely still some strong winds up and down this band of storms, anywhere from 45 to 60 miles per hour as this moves across far northern portions of Brantley County and then on into Wayne County, and it looks like it stays just a little bit to the northwest of most of Glenn County, at least the strongest part of this. And we zoom in just a little bit, and I think this looks pretty good for a circulation now not likely producing a tornado. We're getting into what looks to be a severe line of storms. We do have a storm report just in, though, and this is from Ware County. This is a Sunnyside, 1 mile southeast of Sunnyside. Trees down on Camellia Drive in the vicinity of Waycross. This is where the storm originated. That's when it really ramped up in intensity, and that occurred at about just a little bit after 7 o'clock this evening. So around Waycross, we are getting reports of trees down, and no surprise given what we were seeing on radar. But I am going to wrap things up here as it appears that the most intense part of this storm has started to become elongated, as I mentioned, more of a wind factor, not likely, doesn't appear to likely be producing a tornado. If that changes, no question, I would certainly jump right back up, right back on the air. But looking at the velocities as I go over this here just real quickly with you on the air and go through all of my tables of data here, I'm just not overly concerned, quite frankly, that this is now producing a tornado. It's also exiting Brantley County and our viewing area. So we'll keep you up to date. In the meantime, expect some scattered showers and thunderstorms through this evening at times. They will produce some heavy downpours. If there were to be any severe weather, we'd, of course, pop on right away. But right now, and as we go through the evening and overnight hours, the conditions don't appear to be overly favorable for that kind of storminess. So for now, from CBS 47 and Fox 30 Action News Jax, I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Buresh. We'll have all the latest news and weather beginning at 10 p.m. on Fox and at 11 p.m. and on CBS 47 Action News Jax after the big basketball game this evening. Have a great night.
This has been an Action News Jax First Alert weather update. Get weather 24/7, streaming on Action News Jax now. Available wherever you stream or on our First Alert weather app.